Good morning. So today's theme is our lives are defined by opportunities, even the ones we think we miss. I'm going to read something by a gentleman named Baruch Spinoza. He lived from 1632 to 1677. He was a philosopher. And he wrote about the moral life. And it's really interesting that a lot of people don't read the old philosophers, and they don't read the old early writers, and I don't understand why. So this is his section on reasonable emotions. And it's pretty long, but I think you'll understand why it applies to today's theme. If we live according to the guidance of reason, we shall desire for others to be good, which we seek for ourselves. Therefore, if we see one person do good to another, our endeavor is to do good as assisted. That is to say, we shall rejoice, and our joy will be accomplished with the idea that the person who does good to another, that is to say, we shall favor him. Favor is not opposed to reason, but agrees with it and may arise from it. Indignation, as by defined by us, is necessarily evil, but it is to be observed that when the supreme authority, constrained by the desire of preserving peace, punishes a citizen who injures another, I do not say that it is indignant with the citizen, since it is not excited by hatred to destroy him, but punishes him from the motives of piety. Self-satisfaction is the joy which arises from a man's contemplating himself and his power of action. But man's true power of action, or his virtue, is reason itself, which he contemplates clearly and distinctly. Self-satisfaction, therefore, arises from reason. Again, man, when he contemplates himself, perceives nothing clearly and distinctly or adequately excepting those things which follow from his power of action, that is to say, those things which follow from his power of understanding. Those things which follow from his power of understanding, and therefore from his contemplation alone, the highest satisfaction which can exist arises. So, the summation of that in how it applies to today's theme is that we are social creatures, and we have a tendency to follow along behind other people. And our behavior is often a group social thing. We do things, and those things are mimicked by other people, or we mimic other people. It's kind of a rare bird that you find that somebody who behaves outside of the norm, they divine their own path and they follow that. And those that do that are considered rogue or leaders or whatever. But you have to be careful, because many leaders are actually pretty good followers. They just learned how to manipulate the crowd to make it seem like they're leading the charge and doing something unique when they really aren't. They're taking a mass opinion and following that. So you are defined by the behaviors that you follow. And if you follow somebody who behaves like an ass, you are defined as that. It is important to find your own path and to be careful that you follow a good person, and you follow a good person with good passions and honor and humility and integrity. It's important to make sure that you are following the opportunities of goodness and honor and integrity that come your way, that you're not just willy-nilly following somebody just because everybody else is following somebody. You are defined by the opportunities that are given to you and that you take, or the ones that you may perceive that you have missed. Maybe you missed those opportunities because your instinct said, maybe that wasn't a good thing to follow, and later it was proven to be true. You don't just follow anybody. You don't just take every opportunity that comes and it be the right one. You have to learn discernment and trust your gut. I think that people forget, as a mass, people forget that we are a part of a community and we have human social constructs that we follow. And no matter how alone you think you are, you're still following a certain expectation of other people. Standing alone is much harder than standing in a crowd. It doesn't mean it's impossible. It just means it's harder. And you have to love yourself and really know who you are to be able to stand alone and not with a crowd, and be okay with that and still stay strong. It's not impossible, but it's doable. We all want to belong to something. It's a human thing. It's a spiritual thing. I mean, we as spiritual beings are connected at a fundamental level of our soul with everybody around us. In each life that we reincarnate, we are connected to people and their spirits from other lives incarnated into this life. In every level of who we are, we seek and find communion with other people. It's who we are. And trying to deny that is like trying to lop off your arm. There are people that are more unique in the tract that they... What's the common phrasing? They march to the beat of their own drum. I completely understand that phrase. But even within that, they will want to belong to something, no matter who they are. Even if it's the band that nobody else can hear. It's a common thing. So today's theme is really a contemplation on the choices you make in companions, in friends, in opportunities, and making sure that those friends, opportunities, and choices that you make follow the code of your life, whatever your code is. My code has more to do with truth and seeking spiritual answers, following gifts, honor, integrity, and listening to that drummer boy in the background that apparently only I can hear. My code has to do with creativity and healing, and healing other people and helping other people see their light. That's my code. I seek out people who have a similar code. Not everybody does, and I get that. We all have our own inner code, something that is part of who we are, that drives who it is that we seek out in our lives to become our community. I am disassociated with my birth family. So my family has become other people who hear that drum like I do, that follow a different code than my birth family did. It doesn't mean it's right or wrong, it's just different. I hope you all have a beautiful day. Take some time outside. It's not as smoky today, so maybe you'll get some time outside. It's supposed to be warm again, a little in the low 90s, which in my opinion is way too hot, but it's supposed to cool off this weekend and be in the 70s, which I can't wait. I hope you all have a beautiful day. Have a day of light and love and positive contemplation and success and prosperity. Yesterday was kind of a rough day interpersonally, so I hope you all have a better day today. Take some time for yourself. Look at yourself in the mirror and really tell yourself you love you and mean it and work on that self-love piece. Okay, so on fasting, I wanted to make sure I touched on that. Fasting is going well. I forgot and didn't have enough time yesterday. Mostly I just forgot to make my bone broth meal for breakfast. So I'm going to go downstairs and make that now. I am having bone broth with a little bit of butter in it, some salt. It's so yummy. I've been having that in my post 3 o'clock. I have one usually when I come home from work, and I have one probably around 4 o'clock. And that's been perfect for that afternoon, because I'm starting my fasting at 3, and I go from 3 p.m. to 5 a.m., which has been working out to be 6 a.m. when I get up. Having a rough week getting up in the morning. I'm getting up better, but I seem to be getting up later, and I'm not real sure what all that's about, so I'm working on figuring out that conundrum, because once I wake up, I'm fine. It's just getting up. So I hope you all have a beautiful morning and a beautiful day, and I will see you tomorrow in prayer. Blessed be.